evening. Hang on. I had it here just a minute ago. Hang on, I've got to make sure I'm in the right. Yeah, it popped up. Day 2, I'm in the right space. Alleluia. Okay, so I'll wait for some of you guys to come on in. Say hi if you're here. Let me know if you're replay. I know that loads of you are on replay because, like I said on Monday, there's a really global network of people on this challenge. Hey, darling, how are you, Rika? That's okay. You can catch up. I'll be leaving these in here for you guys to catch up on, because I know that this week there's a few things going on this week, isn't there? So here in the UK, some of the UK are on half term, so lots of mummies are having to look after their children, and daddies having to look after their children. So catching up and replay is happening loads. I know that some of the times that I'm going to be here is not going to match with some of the people around the world. So if you're here on replay, then just let me know and I'll catch up. Hey, Julie. But take your time. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going. Hey, Lynn, how are you? So how did we find, for those that did day 1, how was day 1? I've seen lots of homework actually, which is really cool. As I said to you on Monday, I'm going to give away prizes each and every day. I think, and if you didn't see, yesterday's prize was a custom set of highlights. So let's just get the winner of that out of the way. And I think actually it's going to have to go to Danny. Let me get her handle, because I love the fact that actually what she shared on Insta was like bloopers. And I love stuff like that. It really does make me smile. So the Queen Bee Danny, she has won. She doesn't know yet. She will do now. She has won a custom set of highlights. So I will drop her a message. And if you're here, say hello. I think today, because of what we're doing today, hey Jeanette, I think what we're doing today, I might do another set of custom highlights for someone, because we've been talking about highlights today. So today is all about kind of fancying shit up, making it look a bit pretty if you want it to, and definitely highlights. So now these are something that loads of people get really super stuck on. And really, for me, highlights, yes, they're useful, but it fits into the whole making it fancy and branding it into your business and all that kind of stuff. So it made sense for me to talk about this on today's one. So that will be the prize for today as well, depending on what I see and who sends me what. So, and like I said before, like I said yesterday, it hasn't got to be anything like super snazzy pants. It's just got to be something that I think either pushes you out your comfort zone or makes me laugh, or I just think is fucking brilliant, or whatever, whatever that is. So every day there will be some sort of prize. Yesterday was highlights, today I'm probably going to do another set of highlights, and of course homework. And some of the homework has been phenomenal. I can totally see that there are a few of you that are really nervous, and that's all good, but you did it anyway, and I just love that. That's just $1 million win for me. So yeah, some of them have been hugely entertaining. Some of you have just been sharing, like I said, it hasn't got to necessarily be you. It can just be little snips of what's been going on in your day. So there was definitely one, I think it was Sarah. She even included a poll, and she managed to get some gifts, because it's all about weightlifting or cardio, and that was kind of fun and cool as well, and snazzy, which is always really good. So yeah, some of the stuff I've been sending, hey Alex, has been really, really good. Lucia, how are you? So yeah, so today is all about kind of branding shit up and making it super snazzy if you want to. Now, just to cover, right, I don't think you have to have this stuff super snazzy, right? Now, there are other people out there that would probably tell you different. And yes, it is about standing out, and it is about making your stories something to remember. But I'm a firm believer in your personality will do that, and the messages that you send out will do that. But that's not to say that you don't want to add a little bit of fun and sprinkles in there at the same time. So it's all good, which is why I want to cover it. And certainly there are going to be some brand people out there, and some people that are really heavy into their brand, and maybe it's something more aligned with you to make it look a little bit extra special. But I really don't think you have to. So if you get to this, if you get into day 2 and you're thinking, I just can't be asked, like I just can't be asked to spend the time to do it, but your message is crystal clear, and people are loving the things that you're saying and you're getting DMs from that and all that cool and crazy stuff, then look out, sister, it's all good. Don't think you have to do stuff like this just because everybody else is doing it. And actually, not everybody else is doing it. If you watch most stuff and if you do some of your homework watching 3 people, you'll see that most people just end up like talking to their phone like this. And really it's about giving really insane value. So let's kick this off. And I've only got 30% left. I'm hoping that is freaking enough. I should have recharged. Okay, so as before, like this. Oh, it's too bright, isn't it? Hang on. Let's scoot that down. Can you see that? Is that better? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me get closer. Right, so as before, so we go, because I've already got stuff on my stories, so I'm not going to hit my profile. I'm going to go over to the corner, hit the house, go up to the top, right? I'm just going to take a picture. So we're going to talk about mostly colors and GIFs and just making it slightly more engaging, interactive, visually appealing, that kind of stuff, because I think there's a lot of things that people don't necessarily know about. So what I've done here is just taken a straight out picture of, really it's what you can see in front of me. There is filters that you can swipe through, so I don't know if you can quite see it. Can you see my phone changing ever so slightly? So if you do want to use a filter to change the drama of an image, then you can definitely do that. And that's one of the very first things I want you to see about this. I never use it, but some people do, right? So you can totally do this and just swipe your way through and find something. So maybe if your complexion is not looking perfect, you could use this one, so that's all good. Let's just go back to the beginning. Hang on. God damn, there's loads. Hang on. I went way too far. Oh yeah, and you can do both ways as well. So you can do one way or the other, which is all good, right? Do we know about filters? Who know about filters? No, Janice, darling, you haven't missed much at all. Have you caught up on day 1? Is everyone caught up on day 1? But no, you haven't missed much at all, darling. So that is that. Now, one of the things I like to do, and I have seen quite a few people doing, is what's referred to as framing. So framing the outside of your story. What that does is, the theory around this is, when you're watching the stories, when your one comes out, because you've got some sort of frame around the outside, and I think I did see someone put it on something they sent me, can't remember who it was, so because you'll have a frame, some sort of color around yours will pop out more and it'll grab more attention. Now, so there's a couple of ways in which you can do that. The first, all of them actually, if you go to the pencil at the top, let's get my mouse out of the way. If you go to the pencil at the top, and what you can do, you're going to want to make it kind of thick, right? I'm just going to whack a color on there. You can very easily run your finger around the outsides, right? And that will frame your story for you. It's very simplistic, but can be extremely eye-catching. Now, what I will say is, if you're going to do this, remember to do this on this side, because if you try and start from the bottom, you're going to activate a different color. If you try and do it from this side, you're eventually going to grab that little dot there that makes the ball bigger and smaller. If you start at the top, you're going to hit one of these and it's just not going to work. So start on the side that has nothing there, and it will take you and rotate you all the way around, and you can do that. So if you just click done, that's your kind of frame. So it will make things pop out for you. And certainly, as I showed you yesterday, if you just want to incorporate some of your brand colors, then you can certainly select the color as I showed you yesterday and just very simplistically whack a frame around it. Okay, so you can do things like that really pretty easily. Let me just go here. I'm going to do. So I'm going to erase it because I want to show you something else. So you don't have to do that, Ethan. You can do this. There's so many different things that you can do. You can frame this in and just use the highlight one. And again, you could possibly just do a couple of little zigzags. And this is going to be quite hard to do in here, but you could do that and just highlight it from a corner. And then you've just got kind of 2 corners that you've highlighted. Again, super simplistic, really simple to do. Let's just erase that one out. I don't particularly like that one. Be like creative with it. You can kind of do a couple of lines, a few dots, like anything you can do. I think of it, right? Anything you can do with one of these, you can do on here too. So depending on how super creative you are, depends on what this is going to look like, right? But one of my go-to ones, mostly because it's really super simple and really, really easy to do, is I go, and you're going to need to do this if you want to write blank text. So if you want a blank screen in a solid color, and then you're going to put some text over the top. The trick to do that is this. So let's check my purple. And again, right, I'm going to, because this doesn't have my purple, they haven't read my memo yet. So I'm going to the purple, I'm holding my finger down, I'm just changing the purple to the one that I want. Once you've got the color that you want, tap it and hold, and it'll blank out the whole screen for you. Okay? Did I just rock your world? It took me ages to work that out. But super cool, right? But the really cool part is underneath that, the image that I took still exists. And you can do this on video, and you can do this on just blank image as well. Now, the way that I choose to frame, if you've watched any of my stuff, is I then go to the eraser tool, and I make it quite big. And what I do is I erase out the middle. And you can keep it super choppy, you can be a lot more strategic with it, you can do waves around the side, but either way, that's a frame as well, okay? So again, as you can see it, it'll pop out, it'll make you stand out. One of the things I kind of like to do, I might then go to the pencil, the pointy tip one, bring this down smaller, pop it onto the white, and maybe just add some dots in kind of the purple areas, yeah? It's like super, super easy to do, okay? Just jazz it up, do it however you want to do it, right? So that's really what framing is about, okay? So hopefully that's massively helped. I hope that's helped, right? So again, you can use that with images and flat images and videos. All works the same, all does the same thing. How did you get to that screen? My son interrupted. What screen, darling? Lucia, tell me what screen, and I'll go back through it. Hey, sweetie, how are you? Hey, Shalene. Okay, so that's that, right? Very simple, very effective, easy peasy to do. Now, let's just go back into here. Remember, I'm just going to get rid of all of this. You can do this at any point, just delete out what you don't like. You know, and even if you did that and just kind of, I know, so I've seen some people, if you're doing a video of themselves and they just kind of cut out a heart of their face, so you can see yourself talking by an heart, and it's kind of cool and funky, right? So you can do all of that, which is epic. Now, one of the other things I kind of like to do, let's put some text in here. So let's just do that. Let's do that, make that pop a little bit. So I'm just going to do this, enter this down. Sorry, the caps lock is going to do me in if I don't change that. There we go. Right. So let's just do that, for example, right? Oh, this is another thing that's cool as well. So even though I've taken an image, okay, you can at any point tweak and rotate your images. See? So maybe you just want to kind of leave that down there, and I'm just going to put that up there because you're perhaps showcasing something behind the scenes. Little homework there. Scenes. So you can do anything you like with this. Same with videos, same with text. Same if you was to add something in off your camera roll. You can shrink it and you can twist it and do whatever you like with it. This really is about you just being super creative in your own way. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you just want to kind of jazz things up and make some stuff stand out, and I guarantee you, when you start doing things like this, people will message you and go, that is cool. Like, how did you do that? So you can do that, right? So now, because it's, for me, this is a bit boring. This is a little bit on the boring side. So I'm going to go into my little sticker, the little smiley face sticker. And one of my favorite things to do, if you haven't seen it, is the GIFs, okay? Now, there are a few things that I really like in GIFs. Arrows is definitely one, because it's good for pointing at things, right? So you literally go into there, type in the word arrow, and it's going to give you like a ton of stuff, right? And the same with GIFs. You can rotate them round to the angle that you want and change it in direction and put it in exactly the same place that you want, right? Make them bigger, smaller, whatever you like. One of my other favorites is fireworks. So if you type in the word, I put fitworks. Fireworks is also really cool. Now you can scroll your way through. This one here particularly is my favorite. So what I'm going to do is, at the moment, can you see it? It's kind of spraying up and over. I want to rotate it so that the fireworks are coming down underneath the hello people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around and make it just a little bit bigger and line it up so it looks like the fireworks are coming out underneath the hello people. Okay, that's one of my favorites. And you can keep adding these and adding these and that. You can just do this as far and wide as you like. So you can do that one. Like, there really is so many different things that you can do. The little kind of, see these ones? These ones here are quite good just for adding over the top of something, just to add a little bit of extra sparkle if you want it. Of course, some of the real fun favorites for me would be swipe up. So you can do this if you're adding IG stories. So let's just pop one in there. There we go. So there we are, swipe up. And so you can do that. And at any point, if you put something in, you think, oh, I've been a little bit too extra here and I've done way too much, then you just grab a hold of it, drag it down and pop it in the bin. Okay, so that's one of my other ones. Let's do DM. DM's always a good one. There's lots and lots of choice that you can grab here. So you can do that. And then what I might do with DM is, if one of these is call to action based, and we're going to be going to call to action and lead gen and stuff like that on Friday, this is going to be a pretty cool one. So I would do that perhaps, then go back to arrows. Grab an arrow, turn it round the right way and put it underneath the DM so that they know where to DM you. Instagram is all about guiding them in the right way and showing them the direction that you need them to go. So when you're talking about getting them to DM you, it's really just pointing to the little bit at the bottom to let them know that how to do that in case they don't need to do that. But this is kind of a really simplistic way of creating just some really cool fancy stuff. And I know that I've had some feedback from some of the people saying, like, and these are some people as well that have been doing stories for a really long time, and they're like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I really just like totally urge you to just play around with this. Like, these things only last 24 hours. Each story only lasts 24 hours. I don't know if I said that on Monday, but they do. So worst case scenario, it'll disappear tomorrow, right? Like, if you really truly hate it, then just delete it. Like, there's always the square at the top that you can delete anything that you want to delete, right? It's totally fine. There's like, just delete it. There's no big deal. So just have a good play. And even if for some weird chance, right, I'm going to do it just for the hell of it, right? So I'm just going to send that as if it's like a mistake, right? So I'm sending that to my stories feed. And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a hot sweat. I'm having a panic. Like, how do I get that off? Because I don't want that on there. It's really simple. So go back to your profile. At the moment, it's still saying posting. You've got to let it post. So if you like proper quick, let's just move that out of the way. Okay, so once it's done, go to the three little tabs at the bottom. Hang on, let me get to the bit that I want. Go to more, bring it there. See it? Very top, delete. Ask you to confirm delete, delete. And boom, it's gone. Okay, really super simple. So even if you do make a little bit of a mistake and you end up sending it, it really is all good. It's fine. You can easily do that, easily. Framing, Lucia. So let me just show you one more time. I'm just going to take a very quick picture. So framing was just about going to your pencil, depending on which one you want to do. So again, I'm just going to black out. I'm just going to black this out into a color. Let's go with yellow. I'll touch the middle and hold it. That's black that out. Then I would go to the rubber and just cut the middle out. Yeah, it'd normally be a bit thicker than that. But I mean, that's kind of cool depending on what you want to do. That's how I would do framing. Alex, bless you. Like, this is just like, honestly, this just comes from like playing around playing around with like watching other people's stuff and being like, I kind of like that, how could I use that for me, or how could I take a tiny piece of that. I do that really a lot. So I watch other people's stories and I'm like, maybe they've done like this little tiny highlight thing in the corner, but this whole thing is just like extra as if. And I'm like, actually no, I'm just going to take that tiny piece and do that myself. So it's just like years of watching this. I love me a pink dancing llama. Perfect, right? Perfect. But you have to have 10k to swipe up. Yeah, you do have to have 10k to swipe up if you're driving to URL. So if you're driving to a domain, swipe up is usable if you have IGTV. Okay, I went through that yesterday. So if you haven't quite caught up with yesterday, go back and watch yesterday. And I showed you how to link an IGTV episode. So it is there. How do you put 2 images onto your story screen? Okay, we're going to cover that. That's going to be something that's an external app. Okay, you can't do it from Instagram alone. You're going to need an external app to add more than one photo to your screen. But we are going to cover external apps that I find very useful for my stories tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to be covering all about really super useful external apps that are free, that you can use and build into your stories to help you with things exactly like that question. How do you put 2 images into your screen? Yeah, okay, Rico, just pop yourself back, darling. Okay, so my urge to you really is to just have like a massive play with this, like really play with it, you know, change colors to put a little extra something. I mean, like you could really go for that, like just do a little bit of this around the edge, and then maybe if that's cool, then if you go to the eraser and then just take out the middle, for example, right, and boom, then you've even got like a squiggly kind of, you see what I'm saying? So there's different kind, like really just go for it, be super inventive. And the more you do it, the quicker you'll become at it as well. You'll know what works for your business. You'll know what looks and feels good to you. You know that's like super quick, and you know that it's going to look really cool. So just have a really good play with it. So hopefully that's really helped you with just playing with this. One of the other things I'm going to show you is about emojis. Now emojis are everywhere, right? Everyone loves an emoji. But if you go into the gift section, they're not there, right? There's some of them like moving around, but they're not as expressive as how we would use them in everyday messaging, your Insta posts, and you know, stuff like that, right? So go to your text. Let's just pop one up. So let's do the laughy, right? So again, so I've just inserted an emoji as if it's text. Now the good thing about this is you can make them bigger. You can move them around. Let me move this out of the way. You can move them around. You can definitely add more than one. Okay. Let's do another one. I'm just adding anything at the moment. So you can have them big, you can have them small, you can have them as a collection. This is another way that you can just add more emotion, more engagement, more just a little bit of you, your humor, what you're thinking, what's doing, because emojis are kind of like universal. Everybody seems to know a little bit about an emoji, and when you drop one in, you know what that is, right? So you can add emojis in just by going to your text function, adding them into your keyboard as you would normally, and then putting them there. And like I say, you can move them about, you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can do whatever you want to do with them. Okay, so that's emojis for you. Super easy, right? Super easy. Can you see how you can totally customize your whole feed in exactly the way that you want to do it? Like if you want to be really extra, like you could do a whole frame, couldn't you, of just tons and tons and tons and tons of emojis. Like you could totally do that really easily. Yes, it would take you time, but might it be worth it? Might be. Like I don't know how much time you have on your hands, but you could totally do that. Yeah, you see who can do that. So that's all good. There was something else just came to my mind then that I need to tell you, and I can't remember. I'm sure it will come back to me, so don't worry about that. And again, so just get see the little facey thing at the top here. Hopefully you can see it. I've just hit that and it brings up the filters. So again, there's some extra filters in here that you can add in. Like, world is your oyster, people. Get super busy with it. These are just like moving and just shadows and all kinds of weird and cool things. Like, really do just play around with everything that they have to offer. And if you don't like it, change it. Yeah. So please do that. Now, the other thing that I want to cover here is highlights. Lots of people don't really know or understand about highlights. Highlights for me, let me just close out of this discard because we don't want all that. It's kind of funny. Highlights are these, right? You see these little, I've got loads of people messaging me. You see these? These are known as highlights, right? Now, firstly, let's go, what is a highlight? A highlight is a story that you've selected to stay on your profile indefinitely, right? So as I just said, stories only last 24 hours, but if you wanted to share a story that is something that can stay around, so it's information that's evergreen, then you could add it to a highlight, okay? And then what people do is when they find your profile, you name them, you tag them, and they can have a look through the various things on your highlights. So it's wonderful for getting to know you, it's really good for driving traffic, and it's also kind of like a little gathering, it's like a little library of just things about you. Now, some people have loads of them, like I don't see the point in it, but I ain't got time to be scrolling through like a gazillion highlights trying to find the thing that I want to find. So rule of thumb for me is kind of 5 or 6 tops, because you can fit 5 definitely on a screen, okay? So that's without them having to scoot their way across. So 6 is kind of okay, but 5 definitely fits really nicely on a screen. Now, if you don't quite know what to do with a highlight, I say to people, start here. Have one that introduces yourself. So if you did that yesterday, we're going to get you to do it again if you haven't done your highlights, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to highlight it, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So have one that introduces you, because if someone has just found your profile, what better way for them to understand who you are than to watch a highlight that says, hi, let me introduce myself, right? So that's one definite one that you want. The next one you want is leading to your freebie. So whatever your free option is, whether that's a Facebook group, whether that's a free download, whether that's a book, whether that's your podcast, like whatever your free offering is in your business, have that as one of your permanent fixtures on your highlights. The third one is a paid offer, right? You want to be showing people what your paid services look like. And these can just be filled up with testimonials, with you just vocally talking about some of the things that's going on. Maybe you can highlight some of your promotional stuff. I mean, certainly do go and have a look at some of mine so you can kind of see how I use mine. But that's my rule of 3 when it comes to highlights. You can certainly add some more as and when you go through, and that's all good. I used to have, just recently changed mine because my highlights have changed, but I used to have my YouTube channel on there as well. So I'd add my little trailers onto my YouTube channel and that would be fine. But rule of thumb is definitely introduce yourself, share your free offering, and share your paid offering, and your other bits and pieces you can just add in as you wish. Now, the way that you add a highlight is this. You have to do a story in the normal way that we've been showing you here. And once you've done that, you need to go back into your story. So you've got to do the story, send it to your stories feed, okay? And then go back into the story, right? And at the very bottom, see there, it says highlights. So mine says Facebook highlights, and then it says more. Tap the highlight button, right? And what it will ask you to do is this, add to highlights. So if it's a new highlight, then click new, all right? So that's what I've done, I've clicked new. It's gonna ask you to name it. So I'm gonna put test, okay? And then add. And what that will do is added to test, and it's now coming up as highlighted, right? So I'm gonna go back to my main screen, my home screen. As you can see, I now have a new highlight added to my lovely row. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have covers on mine. So yesterday, Danny, she won a free set of covers because what she did on the challenge. I'm going to give another set away today. So I want to see your work, people. To do these, mine are super fancy pants. I'm not even going to lie to you. They are super fancy. I do them in Photoshop, but you can very easily do them in Canva as well. And I might have to show you a little way I'm doing it on an external app that I'm going to show you tomorrow as well. But ultimately, let me find you one. Mine, it's just an image, right? Look, my highlight cover is just an image that I've created, okay, in the vertical form, and sent it to my highlights. So in exactly the same way. And then once you're done and you've created the highlight, go into your highlight, click more, and here it says edit highlight. So when you go to edit highlight, can you see at the top it says edit cover? Now what you would do is you would click on that, and in your highlight would be your cover. When you click on the edit, it then is asking you to fix your cover, whatever you want. As you can see, you can move it about, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can do whatever you want, and then you click done. Okay, and that's how I make them look like perfect rings like that. Okay, so I'm hoping that's made a whole load of sense. Lucia, yeah, I'm in my stories. So I'm in my story, I've taken a picture, and then it's given me that screen of where I can edit stuff, and the pencils will be there. Oh, thanks, Rika. Oh my God, I just went to do the same thing on my stories. So much fun, right? It's loads and loads of fun. Exactly, I do need the fire with the purple, I know, right? Okay, so that's what your highlights are for. Okay, I don't want you to get super technical with them right now. I do want you to get used to them, because it's very definitely, and obviously, right, because I don't need that one there, that one's like kind of fucking with my chi. It's not right. I'm going to go into that, hit the more button, and I'm going to go remove highlight. It'll ask you to confirm, remove video, and because that's the only slide in that highlight, the whole highlight has disappeared. So again, once this becomes irrelevant, so even if you put something on your highlights and say that particular freebie disappears, then you can just remove it, right? So they become permanent stories until you decide to change them and remove them and take them off, all right? So that's what your highlight's about. And certainly what you can do is you can, in your normal feed, you can refer people back to go check out my highlight for more info. Go check out my highlight for my testimonials. Testimonials is a really good option. I think I've got that. Yeah, I've got testimonials one. So you can refer people back to highlights. And as you'll see, as time goes by, people do watch them because the number count on how many people have viewed your highlights or your stories in general increases. Okay, so that is pretty much it for today. But I want, hang on, let's see it there. Right, let's see, I'm just going to do it again, right? Taking a picture, which is bringing up the still. So your pencil should be across the top, right? Hopefully that's it. Everything else that's in here, we're going to do in the sort of lead gen section, okay? Because some of these other things are going to be super relevant in that space. So I don't want to give you the same info, and I don't want to give you loads of info to like overload you with stuff either. So this is day 2, fancy pants branding plus highlights. Your homework for the day is to do some highlights, to start to create some highlights and make them a little bit fancy pants special in your own magical and wonderful way. As usual, again, send them to me, tag me, do whatever you need to do, because I want to see them. I want to see some of your work. I love seeing your work. And what is on the cards again for today, so I'm going to do a second set of custom highlights. So whoever wins for today's day 2 challenge is going to get a free cut. Like, I'll do them for you. I'll do them. I'll create them for you. So we'll get them nicely aligned up to your business and your brand, but I have to see your work in order for that to happen. Okay. So hopefully that's helped you. I'll take a picture. That's been missed. Oh, cool. Perfect. Can you change the order of your highlights afterwards? You can't. What you can do, the order that your highlights appear in is the most recent ad. So the one that is closest to the left has had the most recent information added to it. Okay, so be a bit strategic about that. If you've got one that's got a promo in it and it's currently sitting at the right on the other side for no one to see, add a new highlight to it and it will jump forward to the front. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, so today's homework, go and do some fancy pants stuff on your stories and create some highlights for yourself. Don't overly worry about covers yet unless you feel confident enough to do it. And you can literally blank it out like I showed you. So blank it out for a color if you want, and you could just put a word in the middle. Like, make it really, really easy. Like I'm going to show you. It's super quick. It's super fast, right? So highlight time. Take a picture. I happen to want it yellow, right? Yellow. Boom, right? Done. Text. So this highlight is called testimonials, whatever. Okay, let's do it in a bit of a slightly different font perhaps. And there. Center the testimonials. That's your highlight cover. Done. That's how fast you can do it, right? It does not have to be hard. Don't make this harder on yourself, right? You don't need to. Absolutely don't need to. Super simple, yeah? If you want to get a little more flash, stick an emoji underneath. Like, for real. It's really, really easy to do. So today's homework, go do some stories, make them super snazzy and fancy them up a little bit, and create some highlights for yourself. Prize of the day is another set of custom highlights. Tomorrow is going to be all about apps, external apps that will make your life a hell of a lot easier when it comes to creating some wizardry on here, right? So tomorrow is all about external apps that's going to make your life a lot easier, and you can make things look very, very sexy if you want to. So tomorrow I will be here at 3 o'clock. Let me just check my calendar. Yeah, tomorrow, 3 o'clock BST. Okay, tomorrow, 3 o'clock BST, day 3. Any questions at all, please drop them in the group. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you tomorrow.